Hi, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Wow, that felt weird to say. I'm Grace Lee. You've probably seen my videos on my YouTube channel on vlogs of my past few years living here in New York City. But this year especially, I really wanted to rebrand my YouTube channel and focus on content that I am currently doing for a living. So before I get started, I want to explain what this series is. I'm launching a mini YouTube social media series for those of you who are interested in working with someone who can help you build your presence on Instagram and social media, and someone who can help with social media strategy, social media management, social media consultation, content creation, all of that, or just wanting to learn more about social media in general. But before we get started, I wanted to explain a little bit about me and my background. So who am I? I'm a freelance social media strategist living in New York City. Sorry, there's like sirens in the background. It is New York City after all. I originally started as a fashion blogger in 2010, so 10 years ago, when blogs were not common and Instagram wasn't even an app. And then from there, I evolved into a content creator, learning the ins and outs of social media in general, all through experience, and then a social media strategist and content creator, because that is something I still enjoy doing. What do? Simply put, I help brands grow organically on social media platforms. This includes Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, TikTok, and more. What are my experiences? I worked over a year as a social media coordinator for a larger corporate company and also a smaller startup in New York City. I also worked freelance social media for New York City restaurants, public figures, created content for various brands over the span of 7+ years. I was also a freelance social media manager for a fashion brand for more than a year. I graduated from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill with a degree in PR, public relations. While in college, I interned as a social media marketing and sales intern with Lily Saduki and a social media intern for Rebecca Minkoff. I moved to New York City after I graduated, and I've been here ever since. In the first episode of my social media series, I want to talk about building a brand on Instagram. What is your purpose? The first question I want to propose is this: what is your purpose? What is your purpose for starting an Instagram page for your brand? Is it to sell? Is it to reach a wider range of audience? Is it just for the fame? Seriously, that's important to know. When you know your brand's purpose, that's when you can start outlining your next steps. If you don't have a purpose, you will burn out fast and you will lose your sense of direction. Purpose fuels passion. You need purpose to give you guidance in a world full of critics and followers. The next part of building your brand is knowing your audience. Most of my clients want me to dive right in and help them create content. They want to see the pretty Instagram stories and the layouts I can make for them and all this content that they see me posting on my Instagram. The thing is, I don't get to that question on the consultation call just yet. The first thing I'll ask is, who is your audience? Or, if you don't have that Instagram yet, who is your target audience? Who are the people you want to reach? This is the demographics, the personality, the characteristics, the locations, the genders, all of it. That is so important to know. Here's another question. How do you expect to create engaging content with them? You don't even know what they like. They might like the color purple, but you keep on giving them yellow shades instead. If you want your audience to invest in you, you've got to invest in your audience. Talk to them, ask them questions, interact with them. It's important to know who you're talking to so you not only know what to put out, but how to put it out there. After you've locked in who your audience is or will be, the next step to building your brand is the strategy. Think about it like this. You're a figure skater about to perform in front of a huge audience. Do you go straight onto the ice with no practice? No plan, no strategy to execute your jumps and triple axels? Mind you, I was also a figure skater for more than 8 years, and that is a story for another time. But you have a plan. You've rehearsed your jumps, your moves, your routine consistently over and over and over. Same thing applies. When it comes to your social media, you've got to treat your content and post like it's your performance. Are there times when you fall on the ice during your performance? Yes, there are, but then you get right up and you keep going. If you're wanting to build a brand on your Instagram, you have to put your best out there always. There's no winging it or making it up as you go. When I first talked to my clients on consultation calls, I'll discuss the strategy plan with them. For some, it can be very overwhelming, and some of them don't like to see it from a monthly point of view, which I like to at first introduce, because for me, I like to plan a lot of my things month to month or even week to week, which is another plan that I like to also work with people who do feel overwhelmed, is starting small. That's why we'll start with the first week. List out your goals, your focus, and build every time. So every week should not be stagnant. Every week should create a stepping stone for your next mic drop. It doesn't have to be a big announcement, but it keeps your audience on its toes. Here's a couple of things I want to make note of in this very first episode before we build on. 1, change is inevitable. And by this, I mean be open-minded with social media. It's constantly changing. You have to be aware of it. What works for you now might not work for you in 2 years, let alone 2 months. With social media, you have to constantly evolve your brand. I'll give you an example. When I started as a fashion blogger in 2010, Instagram was brand new and it was more of a social sharing app with family and friends, and not anything as a social media marketing tool. No one knew it was going to be a business, no one saw it coming, nothing more. But then the fashion blogosphere grew immensely, and we as fashion bloggers started to utilize the app as a marketing tool to help boost our blog following. We would, tell our followers on the blog to follow us on Instagram, so they would be able to follow us with our daily lives, and also just have more engaging conversations with us on this platform that was this, photo sharing app. It didn't even have video at the time. I remember we would direct our followers to our blog, and we would post sneak peeks of our blog post on Instagram, either like the day before, and then the day the blog post went live, we would also do a Instagram post to let them know it was live. That was when Instagram was chronological, and people in the algorithm didn't mess it up, and people would always see our posts. Those were the days. And then I got to college and things started to shift. That's when I really started to change my brand a little bit. It was still fashion focused, but I evolved more into a lifestyle blogger because people wanted to see my college lifestyle, and I was gaining a lot of followers who were wanting to follow that, wanting to see my life in college, and it was a lot of fun. I do not regret blogging and starting my career, really picking up on it in college. It was a lot of work, but I think that's why I can attribute a lot of my success to my college days. Fast forward to post-graduation, and I learned years and years of social media marketing through my own experiences of trial and error with my brand, learning the ins and outs of a bigger brand like Rebecca Minkoff when I entered for them. Here's the thing, I was invested in staying curious and experimenting with lots of ways to grow organically and building a community. So I tried out the influencer life, tried putting me as a talent, and it just didn't feel right. At least I went through it to at least know that that's not the direction I wanted for myself. I knew then when I was, in that year being an influencer in New York City, that I actually didn't want to be the talent, and I wanted to help others grow their own social, those who are new to it, those who are just learning the ins and outs of it, and help them build a community and brand on social media. Everything I've learned has been self-taught. If there's anything consistent about social media, it's that it is constantly changing. The second thing I want to make note of is you're gonna grow, but you're also gonna lose. This is something that I speak with my clients. Many clients come to me crying because, they'll say, I've gained 50 followers this week, but I've lost 30. What does this even mean? And the thing I like to approach, at least with Instagram growth, is that if you grow, you are also going to lose. And that's a fact. Sorry, I just got a notification. And that's a fact, because a part of growing, just like in life, you have ups and you have downs. You win some and you also lose some. And that is something that we should all be accepting of and be understanding of, and not be so hard on ourselves, because that will lead to burnout in the future. Instagram's algorithm is insanely difficult to crack. It's also changing as well. Just like in life, a part of growing means also losing. I'm not saying accept it and move on. What I am saying is don't get so caught up on the follower count. Instead, focus on the engagement, focus on the impressions, focus on those numbers, because are you reaching more than 20,000 views on your post? Well, if not, then how can we boost that number instead? I'll keep sharing more of the series in the next few episodes, but in the meantime, if you have any questions for me or comments, feel free to reach me at my Instagram @bygracelee, or please comment below. Like I said, I am a little bit newer to this YouTube series thing, and I do want to keep on with it. So like I said, if you have any questions for me, I want to definitely answer those. And on my Instagram, I share more tips, so feel free to follow me there. And I also have, on the topic of sharing all my platforms, I also have a podcast called On The Grow. It is available on all streaming platforms, so you can find it on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Let me know which of the two that you prefer to listen to on podcasts if you are a podcast listener. And for my podcast, On The Grow really focuses on the backstory of my career, so you can learn more about me there as well. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and comment below. Just want to say thanks so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next few episodes to come.